What's going on, guys? It's me, Max, come back to you with another episode of the channel. On here we cover international living. Now I'm actually coming to you from Brazil, Foz de Iguaçu, and on this episode I'm going to actually be talking about the country I spend a large amount of my time in, which is Paraguay, and why you might want to get residency in there and what benefits you could get from it. Now, one of the major benefits that you could get from living in Paraguay is that you're going to be joined by a country that has had very stable economic growth for quite a period of time. You know, the country is very much, a rising ship. And unlike some Western nations that seem to have gotten themselves into problems, since COVID and prior to that, Paraguay has been pretty stable. I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon, and the country is set up for a bright future. Now, you say to me, Max, oh well, I haven't heard too much about Paraguay, but I can tell you right now, yeah, it might not grow at the rate that Africa's going to grow, or some of these other nations, or some of these nations in Southeast Asia. But I can tell you the country is on a very good trajectory to keep increasing living standards, keep growing the business within the country, and having a very, very prosperous and bright future going forward. Another point about Paraguay is that the residency is pretty easy to get. You need $3,000 to $3,500 for lawyers' fees, depending on the lawyer you go to. You also need a criminal background check, and you also need a copy of your birth certificate. If you get these apostilled or verified by your government, and you have $5,000 to put in the bank, $5,000 to put in the bank for 3 months and lock up, which you'll get back, you can get residency here, no problem. I will say that if you have a criminal record, I have heard from people that it's a lot harder to do in that situation, and it might stop you from getting it, because obviously they don't want bad people down here. Another thing that's great about Paraguay is that the taxes here are fantastic. If you are working inside the country, I think the national rate for corporations and individuals is only about 10% each. And any kind of foreign income that you don't bring into Paraguay is not taxed at all. So the Paraguayan government aren't interested in money you make as an expat or a Paraguayan on money outside the country. So that's another great benefit. Paraguay is also one of the top, food producers of the world. And I can't remember the exact statistics, but I think Paraguay can feed the world for like a month a year or something like that with all the food that it produces. So if you're someone that's paranoid about food supplies or the expensive food in the West, I will tell you that Paraguay has cheap electricity bills, plentiful food, and a tax regime that is very, very, very attractive. So these are just a few of the benefits if you come and choose to live down here that you're going to experience in this country. Now, as with any country, you're going to say to me, what are the negatives about Paraguay? I've heard it's dangerous, or, I've heard bad things about Paraguay. Now, I have been walking around, a lot of areas of Paraguay at night, alone, and I'm blatantly, obviously, a Western, white guy. I stand out pretty obviously. But I will say that I've been safe in most areas. Now, don't get me wrong, if you go to the center of Asuncion, there is a kind of like a favela style area close to there. So if you go walking around there at night, and someone mugs you, that could definitely happen. But you're just as much of a risk if you're in London or you're in New York in the wrong area at night. So all these stereotypes about it being so unsafe, or South or Central American countries being so unsafe, are kind of bullshit to an extent. Now, don't get me wrong, there are areas that are more dangerous. You're going to experience that with every country. Like I said, if you're in London in the UK, or you're in the US and you're in New York at night in the wrong location, someone could just as easily mug you and stab you over there. But as with most crime statistics on countries outside the West, the crime tends to be focused in one or two areas or certain areas. And there are very, very safe areas where expats or even great people from that country live and experience a very happy, fruitful, crime-free life. So anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into this video. Please like, comment and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video.